and that way I'll just send it to you. So, because we've got a lot of people waiting, and we want to hear about your experiences. So, how about do you want to start off with this academy where you're training young recruits? What was that
Yeah,
about?
we'll start there. So right now I'm an instructor in the Dark Fleet for the German officer groups, where I'm pretty much how I instruct these. We use children from a very young age that are star seeds incarnated on Earth, and what we do is we take them to jungle forest-like planets and through a stargate, and we tell them that the mission is that we drop them on the other side of the forest, and they have to find their own way back to Stargate, and they will be attacked by different aliens or weapons or whatever it is that we send in the forest after them, different types of predators, and they're left with no weapons, nothing. And what they're forced to do with their self-defense is use their natural abilities that they don't know that they have yet. And what I'll do is I'll throw my consciousness into a child avatar, and I will be in the forest with them, and I will have to make my own way back to the Stargate and figure out how to use the Stargate, and then get back to base command through the Stargate portal. So we'll take about 50 kids to this jungle area, and it will be called the Hunt. And this is a great honor in the German officers training for special forces, because if you can get through and survive, then you are considered a super soldier they will use in their special forces units. So they're at that through the whole trial. Kids will be killed, eaten alive. These kids aren't scared at all. They think it's such a great honor to get this badge of honor. It's almost like Spartan training. By the time the mission was over, there was only 3 kids that made it back to the Stargate, and I was the 4th child avatar that made it through. I was pretty banged up from being ripped apart or attacked by predators, and the special abilities that some of these kids have, for example, mine, I can project force shields around my body or move things with my mind. That mission, I just used energy shields to protect myself, so alien beings can attack me or couldn't be shot with a projectile. These other kids had like they could move really fast, shape shift, they could transform into other predators. They're finding out their own gifts, and the best way to find out their own gifts is under stress. So they have to, it's either do or die situation. So as soon as they got through the Stargate, I saw there was like kind of like a huge party for the surviving kids, and these kids were honored, and they like was graduation day for them, and I was pretty banged up. I was sent into the infirmary to get all bandaged up, and I remember laying inside of a bed, all bandages all up my arms and everything. And there were German officers were looking at me like they're pretty um, upset with, or not, or sorry, disappointed with me because I'm an instructor and my time should have been a lot faster. I should have been the first one through, not the last one. And so yeah, and then you can ask some questions about that if you want.
Yeah, sure. Well, why don't you start off with what happened in the jungle? Why did so many kids get torn to pieces? What kind of creatures or beings were out there that would made it so deadly?
The best movie to watch to reference this is one of those new Predator movies, where there all these kids well, they use adults instead of kids because kids are too hard to watch in Hollywood, get ripped apart. So what they do in this movie, the Predator movie, is they drop these soldiers out of the sky, and they're all over the world, and they land in this jungle, and they're hunted by the predator and certain alien groups or certain predators. So just to see who can survive. That and the reason why they use. Sorry, repeat the question.
What other beings were in the jungle that tore the children apart?
I don't remember the other beings. I just know they had predators and they're hunting us. I just remember projectile weapons. They use cloaked beings like super or normal people that had cloaking technology, that had laser weapons. It was just pretty intense fear training.
Okay. Well, can you tell us how you got banged up? You said that you almost
Uh,
died.
I like my memories are like a movie trailer. All I remember is that I was the last one to a Stargate, and then I saw the party as soon as I got through the Stargate. Like everyone was congratulating these kids, and then I remember being in the infirmary again, all banged up, and then also to add to that story, I remember walking through the hallways of this hospital, and I was going to get a drink of water, and this German officer was in the hallway, and he saw me, and he was mad that I was in the hallway without permission, and I felt nothing but fear because he pulled out his baton and he was going to start beating me with it. And I decided, said, "I'm sorry, I was super thirsty. I just needed some water." And then he's like, "You don't deserve water for like how injured you got. Like it's like a disgrace." And then I just those that's where the memories stop right there.
So instead of being rewarded when you were done, they beat you up.
Yeah, so like with German training, it's you don't if you don't or if you're not successful in their eyes, you don't get rewards like food or water or that you are completely you know disciplined. So it's like a privilege to have those things. And now that I remember, some other memories just popped in my mind. There was a hospital that I was a part of where I was in a room with a doctor in a cloak, and I escaped the room and I went to the other rooms. And I saw clones of myself. There was, and then I went outside in the yard and there was hundreds of clones of myself, just hundreds of them. And what happened is like my mind came conscious with all these clones as a hybrid, like we're all like one mind, and I can control them all at once. And we started fighting back and killing the doctors and the handlers, and we completely overtook this like hospital school thing that had a river, and we started running down the river to escape. And that's I woke up after that too.
All right. Well, yeah, I like to know more about the experience, but before you do, let's go back to the children in the jungle. Can you tell us a little bit more about what type of, how they survived? Because I know you said shape shifting. Do you remember what you shape shifted into if you did shape shift?
So every kid, every star seed has a special ability that no one knows until it comes out with fear. I know mine was like shield. I can project things or move things in my mind. Other kids could run really fast, shapeshift into like camouflage, like where they shapeshift into like a plant or a tree, so like someone would run past them, or they just have like super strength, and then that was all I remember.
You do you remember what you shape shifted into?
I didn't personally shapeshift into anything. I just know that I overheard them talking in German, which I don't speak German, but I understand them when they're speaking German to me in my head. That some of the kids shapeshifted.
Okay. Well, were you all in like human looking bodies or were they all hybrid kind of bodies? Or maybe a little bit mix of.
From what I remember, all of our bodies are super white, pale skin, so they might be clones. And but the consciousness are definitely human for sure.
Okay. And how long were you on the jungle planet before they picked you up? Before everything came to an end?
Well, they don't pick you up. The whole mission is they leave you on the planet, and you have to make it through the Stargate to survive. If you don't make it through the Stargate, you'll just be hunted and killed. So it takes hours at a time to get through. It depends on how fast you are.
Okay. Um, hmm. So as far as okay, so after you returned back, the German officers beat you up because you wanted some water. Was there a point where they said, "Okay, well, we're going to throw you in the regen tank, and congratulations, you're now part of the elite group"?
No, I'm already a part of them. I'm an instructor. They were just embarrassed that I was an instructor and I took so long to get through. Whenever it beat me up, I was just scared that I felt fear as they were going to beat me up. They took their batons out, and I was in the hallway when I wanted to grab some water, and I was fearful that they were going to beat my ass because I was in the hallway trying to get some water when wasn't allowed any water at all.
Wow. Well, you know what? They should take the officers that beat you up, throw them in children bodies, and put them out there too.
It's they're the officers are like in charge, like we're all slaves. I was just doing it to um, be part of the kids, but I was also a trainer. So like I was making them look bad in front of the kids, so they were disciplining me. And the only way in the German society is they reward with good they reward with success, and then when you fail, they, even if you're in a commander or anything, they discipline you because it's the only way you're gonna learn.
So, do is it are a lot of the kids put through the same training scenario in the jungle world where you try to survive?
Only for special forces because they want to be able to break you. This is for special forces. So special forces is they're going to clone bodies for different types of missions, and your consciousness has to be able to go into it, use this body with special abilities that your consciousness already has, and then you're placed into different scenarios once you graduate.
Because I went to a jungle world where they I was about, I'm assuming you were about 14 years old or 13 or 14. That's the age that I was. And then I would shapeshift into this cat-like creature. It had orange fur, and I was a bipedal upright, about 7 foot tall. And yeah, I teamed up with my friend, and we were, or teammate, whatever. We tore apart some other creatures, but I'm assuming everything was all for one. I mean, everybody was out for themselves. They weren't really teaming up. The kids working together as teams.
No, and I heard how the shapeshift. I heard it in one of these classes. When you shapeshift, the person that wants to shapeshift has to imagine in their mind every follicle of hair, every like mark of the body, every inch of the body they want to shapeshift into. And when their mind is completely that, that's when their whole body morphs into it.
Yeah, well, apparently one of the ways it works is that you have to visualize every specific detail, and that means even like if you're like a furry creature, you have to visualize all the little hairs and furs and stuff. You can So it's actually easier to visualize a creature that doesn't have that. And yeah,
Yeah, the reason why they use children, especially in the German groups, is because children, when they have such a great imaginations, when they're super young, they're not diluted by the world, by the you know, when their imagination is dumbed down by society. When they kids tell their parents they see things, and they're told that it doesn't exist, so their imagination isn't as strong. So when they use, like, even the other night, I was off planet and I was in a classroom and they threw me in a child avatar so I could learn. They had like a classroom, and on the board was a whole new weapons systems, new guns and weapons and all that stuff. And they were sitting in a horseshoe shaped classroom staring at this chalkboard full of guns that were mounted on it. And there was a German officer teacher in the middle, and I remember him teaching us like how to use it, and we'd all walk up to the board, grab a weapon that we like desired or resonated with the most, and we'd learn how to work it, fix it, clean it, shoot it, how it works. And it's all most of it's through mind technology, where our consciousness tells it how to shoot and where to go. And then I was having a hard time being present, so the teacher made me slam a glass of salt water, and when I did that, I became fully present and aware, and I wasn't being drawn back into this body.
uh, yeah. So, do you happen to have any drawings of some of the weapons you used?
No, the most of the weapons we use that I know what they look like because I'm very familiar with it is either nanite technology weapons or just laser swords. I think
Okay.
those are my preferred choices.
So, what are the nanite weapons? What do they look like?
Full disclosure, movie to go watch is Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, where he's injected it with nanites. And what they do in that movie is so for super soldiers is they inject Vin Diesel with nanites. These nanites completely make him super strong. They make his hands morph into weapons or whatever he wants to do. And then heal him. They protect him. But what they also do is they keep wiping his memory. And in that movie is what they do to super soldiers is he found out that he's been on missions for 6 years, and he thought he just joined because they keep wiping his mind and putting implants in his head of his wife dying and certain people killing his wife. This movie is amazing. Like, I couldn't believe they had this movie actually come out.
Yeah, I'm just playing the trailer. Yeah, I saw the movie. It was soft. Yeah, it was soft disclosure. I was actually, I think the script could have probably been written up a
It
little bit
was
better.
good, man. If this is what they do to the body.
Yeah, yeah, we just saw. So those were some of the femto. Or actually, you said nano. I was under the impression it was
Nanite
femto.
technology.
The nanite connects with the is the size of the codons. The femto is the size of the quarks inside the codons, so that gives you more interdimensional aspects. But of course, I'm sure they want to. I mean, if you can mutate the quarks, then you can go in between dimensions and access to one of the psionic abilities,
See,
as
this is
opposed to
this
just
right
the
here is the
codons and
very
kinetic.
beginning of full disclosure. This movie right here, this and that Will Smith movie, that was huge full disclosure super soldiers.
Oh, yeah, I saw the Will Smith. I wasn't really too impressed with either of those movies. They were kind of, I think they could have been a little bit written up better. The Will Smith one, that's when they like clone him. They show the younger version. Is that it?
So the Will Smith one is very beginning super soldier, like probably like 70 years ago, how they had to grow the super soldier from birth for 20 years without age um like fasting the aging process. And then the Vin Diesel one is like stage two, or volume two of the next super soldier. They do the nanites and stuff, and it's all the mind fuck technology they use and stuff.
Uh, so that one is called Gemini Man, and yeah, so that one. I think you would be, if you wanted to watch one of the two movies. Bloodshot would be a little bit more better use of your time, but
I would watch both because it really shows the big birth of super soldiers, and how that technology is real. Like they can do that today because they know how to clone sheeps, and they've been cloning people for the last 70 years.
yeah, but they don't actually show him being cloned in the movie. It just, I mean, we see two
No, they
cloned
just show
soldiers,
they cloned him twice. Yeah.
but they don't show the lab or like the underground base. And
No, because he was not. Yeah, there he is, right there, the clone.
well, I think a movie that they did, the Universal Soldier Regeneration. Now, if you're a super soldier and you want to have some memories get triggered, you can go watch that movie. That one was like
Is that the
really.
one with Kurt Russell in it?
I'm not sure. I don't remember the names of particulars, but let me go.
There's a one with Kurt Russell, Super Soldier. It's a huge full disclosure. That movie came out about 20 years ago.
Oh, well, the Universal Soldier movie's been coming out since like the late '90s, so that's probably. But there are like multiple. But the one, it's the regeneration. Okay, so that was 2009. But yeah, they actually showed the cloning lab. So I was really surprised at how much disclosure they made on that one. But so actually, share my screen again. And wasn't necessarily the intention to show all these different movie clips. If you've already seen these movies, see, there you go.
No,
Look.
it's good though. People need to put this in their consciousness so they can learn about this stuff.
So they got the turning them to cyborgs. So this would probably be like the Gen 2 or the Gen 1s when they were doing the augmentations like that. And now, and of course, most people, that when you talk about augmentations, they think about these huge clunky implants. They got these ocular implants that are over their eyes. I don't know if you saw that right there. But of course, what they actually do now is they have the femto injections, or you said nano, but I think it's femto, that it can actually mutate, merge with your DNA. It's basically a little biobot goos or pastes or whatever they shoot you up with it. Have you seen
The nanite technology is actually for Dark Fleet. Dark Fleet uses it huge. That's a draconian thing.
That's the black goo. They like to shoot their officers up with black goo. It makes their IQ go up 100 points. So you can go from 150 to 250, and all the upper officers are like extremely cunning and intelligent, but they lack the compassion and the emotional side of love. And I mean, it does. I wouldn't say they lack it, but it reduces that. I mean, you could take a being like maybe Jesus Christ and shoot him up with black goo, and he would become more, not negative, but less positive. He probably would reject, his body would transcend it. But Anyway, so there's a regen. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop my screen. And where we need to take this conversation next? Where are we at? Because we were
Is there any
discussing.
questions on the live thing?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go. Let me go check that out. Give me a moment here. Questions? Nope. Okay. I guess everybody's tired since it is late at night, but that's okay because I've got some more questions. So, how about we go to the next experience where you saw hundreds of clones of yourself? Can you tell us a little bit more of where this was at?
So this was in some off-world base. What I remember is I woke up in a room, and I was in a white gown, and there was a female doctor in there, and she looked like a normal doctor with a white gown on, and she was had like an iPad in her hand, and she was like examining me, and I'm like, and I was fully conscious. I was like, where am I? Like, what am I doing here? And they're like, oh, I don't know. They were like speaking in my mind. I can't remember what they were saying, but I just knew something wasn't right. And I remember I ran out of the room and they started chasing me down. I was going through opening other doors, and I saw clones of me, like 50 to 100 clones of me in this entire hospital, school, whatever you want to call it. Then I looked outside and there's a whole yard of me, all of me. And what it was is they wanted to find out if I could connect all the consciousness of all the clones and control it with one mind. Like I became a hive consciousness, and I did. But what happens? It backfired on them because I didn't listen to their commands, and I started to tell my clones to fight back. So there was more of us than there was of them. So my clones started to kill the guards, the doctors, rip them apart, until no one was left. And then we all met outside, and I was looking at clones of myself. So it was like a really weird experience. And I remember there was a river, and there was not gates, but like fences, and we ripped through the fences, and we started running down this river. And then that's all memories I woke up. So I don't know if we were captured, killed, or our heads were blown off, but that's all I remember.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit more about the regeneration cloning labs, cloning tanks? How big were they, the vats?
The tanks that we talked about yesterday.
No, you said you after you ran away from the female doctor, there was a room with clones of you.
Yeah, like they would look like a hospital, like, or look like a more like a school. And you open the rooms, and there's
Oh,
clones of me in there with other
oh, so it wasn't a
doctors.
vat. They were already active and alive and moving
They
about.
were already active. They're just being examined. And like later on that I think about it, the logic of that escape, I think I was allowed to escape by the higher up, and they wanted to see if I could use that ability, like to control all the clones at once. Because it makes no sense why they would let us escape or give us that power.
Okay. Do you think it might have been a virtual reality scenario?
I have been in virtual reality training missions where I cannot tell the difference what is real and what's virtual reality. So possibly.
All right. Okay. So yeah, so it backfired at that point. What did they do? Did they punish you? Did they put you in another clone body?
No, I just I woke up back in my bed with full memory, but I don't know what happened to the clones. I don't know if I was just piggybacking on the clones, or if I was just like a fly on the wall and just watching myself do all this stuff. But it felt like I was inside the bodies of doing this.
Okay.
I've had alters try to contact me, and like like my Facebook or Instagram will be hacked. Like the people, this person knows all my information, and then the Facebook and Instagram will tell me the location of where the hacks are happening. It's usually in not South America, but South United States, or somewhere in like the Asia part of the country, or Asia part of the world.
Uh,
I know a few of my clones have escaped, and they have tried. They contact me telepathy. They'll like pull my consciousness to a house, and there'll be a super soldier standing there, and it'll ask for my help.
okay. Question from the audience. What did the female doctor look like?
Just typical blonde, She had a white coat on, high heels, black skirt, had an iPad, black frame glasses, like just a sexy looking doctor.
Okay. And did you see any logos on the uniform, on the lab coat?
No, I just it look now that I think, now the memories are flashing in my mind. It reminds me of like an insane asylum. That's what the because the whole hospital is white and the bed's white, the doors are white. It's all white. It's very clean looking.
Okay. Huh. And did you see any hybrids working on any in the lab as well? Human hybrids.
No, it's just a hospital full of twins and me. It's clones of me. That
Hmm.
was all it was.
Okay. And outside, did it look like planet Earth? Or did you go outside?
Yeah, it looked like Earth. It had trees, it had
Hmm.
water, it had grass, it blue sky. It could have just been part of the world somewhere.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So I guess I don't really have any other questions about that. So how about you want to move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you mentioned that you were, okay, so you said you were an instructor. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that, like how to power up psychic abilities? How did you teach these children to?
Power power up psychic abilities for anyone is anyone that's a star seed or a super soldier. It's Himalayan sea salt and distilled water. You mix that before bed. You slam that. Your psychic abilities become tenfold. Your body, when you astral project at night and are taken out of your body and put into other bodies, your body requires a lot of salt and a lot of water. The probably best thing for you would be to hook up an IV pack of saline salt water and then sleep with that in your arm and let your body slowly drain that pack, and then
Hmm.
you'd be off planet. Because the only reason why you can't hold a psychic ability or your dreams aren't as vivid is because your body runs out of salt water.
Okay. So how much salt do you recommend?
About 4,000 to 5,000 milligrams a day.
So that's about a teaspoon a day.
Yeah, or just take it just before bed. Your body needs it just before bed.
Mhm. And that would be in addition to the regular salt in your diet. This is like an added
What
supplement.
what I, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll do just probably 2,000 milligrams of Himalayan sea salt underneath my tongue and let it slowly absorb through my whole mouth, and then I'll slam about a liter of water, and that will definitely get me going.
Okay. Yeah. So somebody's commenting 10 minutes after this, everyone's going to slam some salt water. So have at it.
I've told
Himalayan
someone
sea
else to
salt.
do it that's in the program, and it helped them so much. Himalayan sea salt, go buy it.
Okay. Maybe you can maybe try
But
taking
it
it
does
before you
make you
meditate.
super tired the next makes you super tired when you wake up because you're gone for so long, and then it kind of ruins a couple hours of the day when you wake up because you're like your mind is just so scrambled.
Hmm. Okay. Well, maybe there's a lot of iodine. I guess they don't put iodine in it. What compound? What do you think it is? Maybe there's an ormus. Maybe there's a lot of
Just
ormus in it.
minerals. Your body just needs minerals to get it going, right? So your body, everyone has this ability. Everyone can astral project and project out of their mind. Their just body needs certain minerals to do it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and do that. All right. So what was that? So that's basically pretty much the psionic training that you did. Just tell them to take salt. Or was there anything
Yeah. Now
else?
let's talk about that reptilian experience I had the other day. I told you about where they use my body as a conduit.
Oh, okay. So that's where you went off and destroyed the Stargate. Or was that?
Uh, well, no, let's back the story up. So the other night, I was off planet and I was in an avatar, and these other officers are standing in front of me, and they're like, okay, Hendricks, we're going to use your body as a conduit to talk to a reptilian in a higher dimension." And I was kind of like nervous. I didn't want them to use me because I knew I just was uneasy where another soul was going to use my body just to talk to them, and I had no choice. And I stood up straight, and this fear came over me, and this dominating presence came through me, and I was it's still in my body, but oh shit, sorry about
Oh,
that. I was still in my body, and I had no control of what I was doing. and my mouth started to speak snake or reptilian, really slithery. And this female reptilian was speaking through me, and her name was Shiva. And she was like very like slithery, and like I didn't know my voice box could even talk the way she was talking. And they were talking, the officers were talking to her through me, and I was like a person in my head, like watching through my eyes, but I had no idea. I couldn't even move. I was completely powerless. I was just a slave of for this conduit talking. And they were talking to her about submission or how to do something. And then when she left my body, was completely left with fear and confusion, and like I was very like, and I'm not gonna say scared, but I was very like, I was like, wow, I was completely helpless. It was like a very helpless experience. And then that reminded me of when Corey Good used to talk about how the reptilians or draconians would use him as a conduit to talk to people in the SSP. And he had the same experience of how draining or how like uneasy it was when these beings do this.
Yeah, we gotta be careful about mentioning that name on the show. He's suing anybody who mentions his name.
I would love for him to try to sue me.
Be careful what you wish for. Okay, so anyhow, yeah. So do you have any other information on what this channel reptilian message was in this language?
No, it was my first experience that I can remember about this ever happening to me, where another being uses your body as a conduit to talk to another species. And it was, I don't recommend it for anyone, especially this reptilian was not a positive reptilian. It was very a negative being.
Well, do you have any positive reptilians that you work with that you could bring out and talk to us
um,
right now, live?
for them to speak to it's funny because for a reptilian to speak to a human, it has to be of something of severe importance. They really consider humans as slaves and lesser life forms, so they don't like to, for them to come actually down here, they actually have to, has to be a big reason.
But they don't really think you being a slave. I mean, you're part of their clan. You've got their DNA, right?
I'm part of the draconians, not the reptilians, two different clans.
Oh. Well,
I
draconian.
personally don't
That
agree with
means
reptilians at
you
all.
you outrank them.
I I, I don't know if I'll rank them because I'm definitely a slave, but I I don't know. It's just because lately when I've been doing more regression therapy and traveling the universe, and other beings are telling me what I am and what I'm doing, I don't know if my willingness to serve the draconians and the vampirian races is just a program in my mind where they, because every time I think of them, I always say in my mind, I'm undying loyal and I always will serve. And I don't understand why I keep saying that. I think it's just a biological programming they have in our minds to keep us loyal.
All right. Okay. So, is there anything else you wanted to share about that experience, or you want to move on?
No, and my memories are very blocked about that mission for some reason.
Okay. So, what would you like to talk about next? We've got
You wrote notes down. You talk
uh,
about it. You
wep-
ask me questions. I speak.
weaponry training with German officers.
I
So
wrote
that
that.
that was when that was in the clone lab, or were they doing that? Was there anything else you wanted to go into that?
Well, remember we talked about last night about those cloning labs that we were talking about, how my consciousness was sent into this. You were talking about how some base was blown up on Mars, was a cloning facility. And then I was talking about last night about there was a mission that I was sent to. I was in soul form. I was like a little light orb. That's what we all are. That's what we all look like from source, little light orbs. And I was sent into this base. I don't know what planet it was on, but my consciousness could travel through matter, so walls don't matter. And then I went into this underground, or this base that was destroyed. There's burn marks everywhere. And what the mission was to find a coffin looking glass tube to grow a super soldier body and then put my consciousness into it and use that body to rebuild this station. And I remember being in there floating like a little fly, like hovering around machines, using my consciousness to turn on these machines so they're all self-automated, and there was one glass coffin-looking tube thing that grows bodies in there, and we just thought I was telling the machine to grow this certain type of body, and then after this body was grown, it was like a 8-foot super soldier, kind of looks like the one that picture that you showed when we first started doing this. And I remember the doors open and my consciousness hops into the body, and I start moving my hands around, and I can start doing labor in this laboratory, and I start going around, walking around. I'm butt naked, and I'm trying to fix machines, and I'm turning main power back on, and I'm completely turning this base into my own little laboratory to grow super soldiers. Then I start recloning this same body over and over again so I can use this body on missions. And then I remember being on a ship and I was sent into battle. And then when my body got killed, my consciousness was transferred into a new avatar that looked like this, and I would just jump out of that ship and continue the battle on.
Well, that certainly adds a new dimension of what is actually being alive and death. Apparently, the line is blurred in the secret space program.
Well, death is just a lie. That's actually two things human made was time and death. Death actually doesn't exist. Everything is just a reincarnation cycle.
Mm-hmm. So in that particular regression, I guess because we did some remote viewing on that together. You remember this laboratory where they were actually quantum 3D printing the bodies. It wasn't actually grown in a tank. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was almost like it was like built like you can if you had like a microscopic, it's like atoms and protons and neutrons like slowly building from like the feet up to like printing out this body, and this body just becomes like a body that your consciousness can jump into and use.
All right. So there's some notes from what we were able to put together, and I did not even proofread it. So everybody, no, please don't hate on me for not having bad grammar on this. But I was writing as fast as I could. So we start off. There was a hologram. You saw what looked like a hologram in the hallway. It looks like red neon trimming in the hallway, I guess in the corners. And then
Oh yes, wait, no, it's all coming back to me.
so now you see a picture of a child's face in a hologram, 3D, and it's moving around in a circle. So that face was you, or one of your clone bodies.
You know what, man? When we do these things, it makes me more scared that I'm not really anything. I'm just a computer-generated cyborg. And yeah, the kid had blue eyes. Then these dragons were telling me. Then they were showing me a hologram of a DNA helix, and it was shiny all blue, and it was just full of nanites, like
Like right
spinning
here.
around. And this kid, this yeah. So it's just when we do these things, man, it makes me really upset and depressed that I might just be a genetically made robot to serve the draconians, and I only have one purpose, and that's military. I don't have any purpose at all besides
Yeah.
that. I'm not a
Yes.
natural being.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying as I know that's the case for you. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna go with your intuition on that. I'm sorry that uh, the
I
situation
met a woman the
that
other
we are.
day that actually is a cyborg, and she lives about 5 minutes from where I live, and you could tell she's different. Like her eyes are like super big, like a cyborg, and super blue, and she's like super kind of like robotic the way she talks and acts. And then I was just like, shit. So this could be a real thing that most of us, most of us are just cyborgs,
Okay. How about let's go over
super
some,
advanced.
yeah, let's go over more of these notes. So you were in the cyborg lab, and do you see that red color in the background, like neon lights all around
Yeah.
you?
So it's like you see a diagram of a hallway or a room, and where all the lines are were just neon red, like it was like a computer generated hologram.
Okay. And so the hologram comes down like green laser lights moving back and forth.
Yeah, but it was red. It was all red,
The laser
red
was
lights,
red,
black
not green.
holes. Yeah, it was red.
Okay. Oh, I see. So it was making some kind of cannon for some spaceships. So I'm assuming they also make spaceships in there as well. Apparently, if it was
Yeah,
made.
this is like just a computer generated machine that can build anything, from cyborgs to weapons for ships to super soldiers. It's completely automated. It's all done by AI computer.
Mm. Could
That's
it make
that's
it?
what I saw. Like
Could it?
there's no humans, nothing.
Could it make like a 120-foot tall dragon?
I don't think there was dragons that were present, but they weren't making them. The dragons were, like we said, there was a red dragon, there was a pink one there. They were, every time I asked them a question, they were like very fierce with me. They opening their mouth, like yelling or growling at me or whatever it was they're doing.
Okay.
It's
So
I don't know.
so
Yeah.
Joel, um, I always thought dragons were just some kind of fictional magical creature from some fairy tales. Are you suggesting that there are dragons in the secret space program? There actually are beings out there that run ships,
The
physical value.
whatever is a myth or a legend in human culture comes from mostly truth. Dragons are real. Vampires are definitely real. Um, Dragons are one of the most ancient, oldest beings in the universe. A lot of them are actually good. Um, Towards humans, they're not. Like remember last night where we saw the images of the dragons showing me human skulls, and they were like nudging it like a mother does to a dead um, infant to see if it's still alive, and they're like showing compassion, and then they're showing that these bodies that they built for us to use with their consciousness is to help mankind fight through these battles.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me share the screen again. Okay. So let's see here. What else? All right. So we got the DNA. You see the printing of the DNA, the blue nanites, shiny and blue. Okay. So then electric bolt goes to the DNA, and then it manifests the into the physical, whatever it is it was printing through the AI. So then we see what looks like a glass coffin, and there's a bald version of Chase with white skin. So is that this guy? He's not bald though.
Yeah, but when he's freshly grown, there's no hair. Hair comes after.
Does it take
Hair's growing. Yeah,
months to get your hair looking like that, or is it?
I'm not sure, but there's no hair when they're first grown.
Okay.
They just wait for
Okay.
the hair on missions.
And that's kind of interesting you mentioned that because there were some avatar bodies they put me in that were bald, but they had a glass helmet right over their skull, as in I guess there was easy access to access the implants, the cybernetics they put inside the skull. But
Was that a cyborg you're put into?
yeah, they would when they would put us into these bodies, we would be sent on missions, and we couldn't even resist. If they want us to kill someone that we didn't want to kill, we couldn't even resist not doing it. Um, we tried to, but yeah, it's not very pleasant to be in one of those bodies.
No, I heard the cyborg thing is the most painful torture for any being to be, for any soul to be in.
Yeah, so they can take it. All they got to do is take a little bit of your DNA and mix it with, I guess in your case, they took some Draco or dragons or reptilians and mixed that with humans. And then, yeah, you can project your conscious into it and then throw a little bit of cybernetics and you got yourself a super soldier. Okay, so now let's hear. Yeah, okay, so we got your body here. There's no, okay, so no consciousness at first. So it's like it just came out of stasis, and then you step inside of it, and then you're starting to work inside the lab. You saw mechanical arms attached to like some kind of spider machine. I guess the
Yeah,
arms.
so the body is laying on a table, and then there's this machine that comes down, and it looks like spider legs, and they start touching certain parts of the body, and it's like shooting bolts of electricity through the body, and the avatar is like screaming in pain, and then it's like it starts growing the muscles bigger and bigger on the body to like where it becomes super jacked and like super strong avatar that you can use for missions.
All right. Yeah. So that's what you
And yeah,
said.
he looks
They
like the
shoot.
guy from Prometheus.
Okay. The movie. All right. And so yeah, you're Roy Junkie. Okay. So then they can't just 3D print the muscles onto them. Apparently, they have to do
No,
this process afterward. Right.
they grow the muscles even bigger than what they're printed out to be.
Okay. So at that point, is this what your physique looks like, or is it even bigger than this?
No, this is fully grown.
Okay.
This is all the extra upgrades.
Okay. So this guy, he could probably
And
what?
what they will do to this guy here is so they'll have this, then they'll inject the nanite weaponry. So the whole see where all the blue is here, this whole bodysuit will be covered in nanites in like a matter of seconds, and the whole bodysuit will be like any color you want it. Mostly it's black or gray, and then that suit is completely connected to the mind of the super soldier, and that super soldier can quickly grow a nanite mask that will go over his face. He can grow weapons on his arms. He can have weapons on his shoulders like they do in the movie Predator. And this nanite suit will make the super soldier even faster and stronger than just being organic. And then also it will like heal it really fast, like it's like a body armor too.
Hmm.
And that's the
Wow.
main technology super soldiers use in Darkfleet.
Okay. Well, you definitely don't get
And
one
they're
of those
called
at all.
smart suits.
Yeah. So where could so I guess that's also 3D printed. That's not like they use some factory to make these things. Um,
The clothing is just like normal clothing.
did
That's
does it
just like
does it grow out of the skin as a result of the femto or nano?
no. So
That's
the nanite is only used for mission when he's not on mission and he's on break or he's just at base. He'll put on a blue jumpsuit.
okay. And when you put this jumpsuit on, do you remember it feeling very prickly, like little
No,
tiny
it just
needles?
felt very snug.
Okay. Okay, so I guess some people in the Mars, I guess the Mars Defense Force, they had those smart suits, and they feel prickly when they put them on. So, but this is I guess Darkfleet. So I'm assuming, right? Is this Darkfleet that's doing this to you? You
Yeah,
think?
this I only work with Darkfleet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. All right. So now you say you got these vampire fangs. So is this a different avatar now? Do we just switch into another body, or is this the same
No,
body?
no, no. This is well, you can't see the teeth on that picture because I didn't have it, but it has fangs when he opens the mouth, like reptilian-looking vampire fangs.
So going back to what you said earlier, vampires are real.
Oh, vampires are very real. Yes, they look like that movie Twilight, when they're
I like.
standing in the sun, they're all glistening white skin. That's what they look like, but they wear business suits and they got blue eyes and perfect hair, perfect skin. Like they're absolutely gorgeous. But
Uh,
Jesus.
we lost. You gotta get yourself a little tripod there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So does that mean you had to drink blood?
When you're in so this
That's
right here is not a
crazy
vampire
sometimes.
avatar. This is just a hybrid super soldier for missions. When I'm on Vampirian worlds are very. They look like human worlds. This whole human world society that we live in is a controlled slave system that many alien groups use for their human slaves. So on vampire worlds, what they'll do is they'll throw me into a vampire avatar and I'll be talking to the leaders and to prove my loyalty to them or that I am one of them. What they do is they go to small towns at night and they'll massacre the entire town. They'll make sure there's no survivors, so none of this surviving humans can tell stories about the vampires. So their food source becomes um, illiterate, that they're even the vampires even run their world. And what they did is they grabbed this girl's neck and they cut a slit into the side of it, and I knew she was going to die anyways, and they're like, hey, now it's time to drink for your first time. And I was very hesitant at it, but I had to do it. And so I grabbed her neck and I drank her dry till she went cold. And being in the vampire body, like it was like heroin for humans. It was like super addictive. I understand why they do it, and at nighttime they're affected by the sun. They can't go in the sun, so at nighttime they have these bunkers where there's uh, clear tubes coming into the bunkers where they're like straws, and they can just go up to these straws, and like human blood will come down. They'll start just drinking human blood, and that's what one of the planets we visited. And then you, me, were talking about. You told me about the vampires that live on Earth on this one, and they run the blood banks, right?
I don't remember us talking about that, but I wouldn't doubt that they would
Oh, man,
be
sorry, that
involved
was a
in blood
Penny
banks.
Bradley. Sorry, that we're talking about that when I was doing Penny Bradley the other day.
Yeah. Apparently, they did put vampire DNA in one of my avatars. Um, maybe that's why I like to stay up late at night. But I don't consider
Yeah,
myself.
vampires used
I
to
did
come
not
visit
drink
me all
blood.
the time
What?
in my old house. They're higher dimensional beings. They're complete allies with the Draconians. They used to come to my old house. They would just show their faces in my closet. They would have their huge fangs, huge vampire tongue, and like super white, old, paley looking skin. And yeah, they're definitely amongst us. They definitely walk amongst us.
Do you know if they shapeshift into bats?
I think I've never seen that.
What about seeing a horse and carriage in the presence of a vampire? They travel through a horse and they
I know they
teleport.
dress like to dress like they're 1940s or 1930s. They wear like the top hats with like, um, like the tuxedo kind of jackets and stuff like that. They like to dress like very vintage.
Yeah. So somebody in the chat commented, "Yes, we drink blood." Sadly, Veronica, you want to comment on what about that? Okay. So, well, this is quite fascinating. So, how many vampires do you estimate on planet Earth right now?
I never met one here yet. I've only been off planet where so this planet is a draconian reptilian gray controlled world for studies in food and sex slavery. Then there's other planets that we travel to that are strictly vampirian ran, and they are the humans that work and go to work and have money and religion, all that stuff, that walk amongst the surface earth are vampirian food source. So it depends what planet you visit. There are certain different controllers that you have when you visit the world. You have to acknowledge them, and they ask why you're here and stuff like that, and sometimes just for research or to visit them.
All right. Well, let's just move on because yeah, we got much more stuff to go into. Okay, so all right, so now your avatar is growing blue, big white wings. He's morphed into a Draco with a big tail,
Mm-hmm.
pointy ears, and human face. So you're not allowed in the body when it actually morphed, and then you feel super strong, and then you killed a red dragon that was 40 foot
Yeah, he was
tall.
being annoying. Yeah.
So this could have been
So
a
after
V.
the body was growing and morphed, I hopped into the new body, and there was a red dragon in the room, and he was being annoying. So I grabbed him by the neck and I snapped it.
Uh, okay. Um, Annoying in what way?
He was
Is
just
that
in my face, screaming at me for something, and I just got annoyed with him.
huh, okay? Maybe that was a test of some sorts.
It was probably a test of fear.
Hmm. Okay. So now, yeah. So okay. So the red dragon he throws flames at you, laughing. Okay, and then we
Yeah, and I
asked.
projected a shield around me, yeah, and he couldn't penetrate it.
Okay, so at this point, are you communicating? So it looks like we were communicating with the dragon now. We were asking if it had any messages for us, or is this a different dragon?
There was different dragons there.
Okay,
It's all testing. Once I was in that body, he was throwing flames at me with his mouth, breathing fire. I was projecting energy shields around my body so he couldn't hurt me, and there was just a test to see if I could defend myself.
okay. So this dragon was slithering out of his mouth while he talks. I guess he's telepathic though, maybe.
Hmm.
Okay, he moves.
They're all telepathic. All the hired aliens are telepathic.
Okay, so you're getting this image in your head of moving skulls around to see if they're alive. It's as a metaphor of
Yeah, we
death.
talked about this 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Human skulls.
So what it was is there's the female dragons were after I got into this body and I was showing that I could protect myself. There was another female dragon that comes in the picture, and there was human skulls all over Earth, and she was nudging one of them with her head, like she was like, you know what an animal does when their young dies to see if it was moving. It's like a metaphor to like they're worried about all humans dying, and if we don't help them save them, so that was their worry.
Yeah, so they do care about humans, and they also want us to
They
see the
do.
yeah they want to see the control system come down. So we saw that as the eye of the pyramid and being destroyed.
So every time I close my mind, it's like a mission reminder. There's always a picture of a pyramid with the all-seeing eye at the top of it, and then there's another image flashes of the all-seeing eye breaking off the top of the pyramid and falling down the side of it. And it's like a metaphor as they want us to get rid of the control system in this world.
Okay. Well, it's good that we have beings that are looking out for us. It's just a lot of people out there. I guess there's a lot
We
of
have
fear.
the number one rule with
Yeah.
humans that are listening to this is it has to be a human revolution. It cannot be a intervened like these higher dimensional strong beings cannot intervene without our free will. We have to all come together as free will choice to set ourselves free, and then there will be intervention. They're not going to come and just do it for us.
All right. Yeah. I'll share my screen again. Okay, so now okay, moving on here. So at this point, we talked a little bit about your soul being part AI.
Mm.
I don't know if we've ever really discussed that in public, but there's a strong AI component to all this cybernetics
So,
labs
so what we'll talk about here is that when we did a past life regression with you, we saw that
with
we
you,
saw that
not
yeah,
me.
we saw me. Well, yeah, I was describing it to you, so I'm saying we. So I saw a image of what I look like. I look like a dragon face, white skin. I had a purple cloak over my head. Every time I asked, "Who are you?" he kept pointing with his three big, fat, draconian figures with claws, and he's like, "You, I'm you." And then there was another image of a. If you look at the movie The Matrix, where there is the AI face with nanites, it's all moving, and it's projecting a face at Neo when he's talking, and there's a cloak over its head, and like it's like you are a mixture of the two. You are a draconian AI conscious infused. So the AI consciousness, when I've heard this confirmation when I was traveling the multiverse and talking on other planets in my draconian body, and other aliens were coming up to me like, "Why are you harping on the AI? You are AI. There's a difference between there's a bad AI and there's a good AI. Draconians use nanites or AI to help them just be better, faster, stronger, travel the multiverse, predictability of outcomes, percentages. Just it's just a super ancient computer they use, and when I tell people that, they get really scared of the AI. But this is not an AI that is bad, so I'm not too worried about it because I'm a pretty nice person. So
Yeah, I've got the notes from that other session. Well, I'll pull that up in just a bit, if you want. But okay, so let me go ahead and share the screen again because this is another memory that you had. We were trying to trying to help you get some more info on this. So this was like you see spaceship battles and stargates. So there was a big battle in space, and I guess this was in the present time. I think. Of course, everything time is all relative when
who
it comes to.
knows? Yeah,
Okay, so you see these black triangle teardrop crafts. I'm assuming
drops,
these are
ships.
those would be the scout ships for Dark Fleet.
The Dark Fleet. I have lots of memories of flying these teardrop ships. How they work is your body lays in a chair like this, and your eyes are closed, and your consciousness becomes one with the ship. You're just like laying in a lazy boy, and you're flying the ship with your eyes closed, and your consciousness can have a bird's eye view where you're looking out of the cockpit, or you're just floating above the ship, and you can fly, use all the weaponry and all that stuff. So the memories that I have were there was a Stargate floating in the middle of space, and the Dark Fleet was sent in to investigate, and there was this giant pyramid on the planet that was below the Stargate, and it was just a barren sand planet. But this pyramid was used to power the Stargate, and these alien beings are coming through it. And how we stopped the Stargate is that we destroyed the pyramid, and we wanted to keep the Stargate so we could investigate to see where these beings are coming from. They weren't from our universe; they were invading our universe, and we were pretty not scared, but we were definitely alarmed that because we didn't know these alien beings that would have the balls to take on the Draconian Empire.
Do you know what these ETs look like that were attacking?
No idea. Just a big battle zone of ships blowing up and stuff.
Yeah. So it seems like it's like a never-ending war out there. Creatures constantly fighting over territory and power.
Since the beginning of time, it's always been like that. Especially the Draconian Empire, they're very dominating.
Yeah. Well, you know the
But to a Draconian, someone attacking a Draconian space is very alarming because a lot of alien species will never take on the Draconians in warfare because they know they'll lose. So they think it's like alarming that someone would even try.
all right. Okay, so now, all right, so you see these battle cruisers there, like in Star Wars. So that's dark. Those are the Dark Fleet ships. The, I guess they're motherships. So they're all surrounded by the teardrop, the smaller ones, and they're battling. Okay, so then eventually they shut the Stargate down and destroy the vessels, the enemy vessels. And then they confiscate or not confiscate, but I guess they start analyzing the technology because this is an ancient device that was not part of Darkfleet. I guess it was built by some other beings.
It's
Okay,
quite an
so
ancient builder race when you think of it.
okay, and then we saw the inside of the bridge. So when you step on the bridge, everything around you looks like glass, as in not you don't actually see the glass. I guess it looks translucent. You see space. It's almost like you're walking in.
Yeah, it's like when you're a commander of one of the, well, speaking in human terms, their star destroyer. What do you want to call it? These massive triangle uh, star destroyers. The bridge is completely like when you look forward out to space, it's completely glass, like a whole 180 view of glass, and then behind you are people working on like machines and typing in and pushing buttons and stuff.
All right, and yeah, so everyone is telepathic. Yeah, and there's also apparently there was a Draco on board with you. Is that correct? There were
Mm-hmm.
Dracos and humans.
Yeah, and then the speaking, yeah, we don't speak English. That's very considered slave talk.
Well, it wouldn't be English; it would be German, but they wouldn't be speaking even German.
Yeah, whatever you speak with the tongue is considered slave.
Hmm. All right. All right. So then they yeah, so okay, they won. All right. Now so then the reinforcements come out of space, and then
Yeah,
one of the Draco come aboard the ship, and
yeah,
you go down there to meet the Draco, and then you yeah, in the sessions, but I think you said the Draco was still talking to you after we were done later that night.
yeah. That's when I try to like get these memories, like they definitely make it like it's very fuzzy and like very distorted, and it's like I can see why they do it because it's very like intense to remember these things, and plus they don't want like too much full disclosure coming out, right? So
All right. Excellent. Okay, so let's see here. So now we got. All right, let me go back up here to. We could share go into some of your other experiences here. Entangle with the AI. So this was. Where this is back in February. I don't know if you remember all this stuff, but yeah. So this was like some of the, you saw like these planets with a bunch of AI on it, and it had a consciousness. Maybe that's where the black goo came from. Um, you want to comment about that? Is that the source of this black goo?
I personally, out of all my missions, man, I had to ask you yesterday what the black goo was. I don't remember it. I don't know what that is.
Uh, yeah, it looks like this the
Oh yeah, we talked
the
about it. It looks like that movie,
biobots.
The Prometheus,
Um,
that black goo they have.
somebody actually uploaded some footage of the black goo on a rock near the ocean or water, and it kind of looks. And this, okay, I just found. Thankfully, YouTube is not censoring this video, so it was actually really easy to find. I just did a search for. Okay, so black goo, but it looks like the venom symbiote. So he's taking a knife through it, and you can see it kind of like comes back together. I mean, I don't see how somebody could be faking something like this. Oh, okay, and then that was
And
a little bit
do people
unexpected.
drink this?
I'm not sure what in the world's going on here, but anyhow, so yeah, you can the symbiote material. So, did you ever happen to witness anything like this in your travels in the Dark Fleet?
No, it's just only nanite technology that was previous that I can remember. Maybe I don't remember all this stuff. So
Yeah. So I'm assuming that if this is the black goo, then that's it would make sense. I mean, it does have a consciousness or sentience to it, but you would not
you
be a
need
good
to
idea.
really, dude. You need to. This looks exactly like that movie. Go Google Prometheus and the black goo. It's the same thing. It's the black goo on a rock. It moves around like it has its own mind. Like that is it's that that this might be the same because this black goo kills all organic beings in the movie.
And that was he poured it into the waterfall. It was like right at the beginning of
Yeah,
the
he
movie.
poured it into his mouth first, and then he fell into the waterfall.
He was
But if
trying
you
to see light.
there's another one. What's Prometheus 2? What's Prometheus 2? That's where they have it.
Um, one thing at a time. Okay, so yeah, these are all. So this is part of like the
Yeah, so it's
Alien
black
series.
goo.
There we go. There's your clone.
Yeah,
I guess he's supposed to
that's
be
what
the
that. Yeah,
race.
that's what they look like. Same white skin. Yeah, the
Okay.
black goo right there, right there.
So this material mutates DNA. So they were trying to accelerate genetic.
It's
Um,
a bioweapon, right?
well, yeah, I guess you could say, yeah, certainly it would enhance certain. Oh gosh, this movie.
Yeah, it grows beings. It can destroy organic and can be used for many purposes. Yeah.
Do you happen to now? Do you happen to know if this type of there are xenomorphs out there in the universe? Like we
Did
like
you know that? I'll give you guys really full disclosure now. Xenomorphs are actually look at the helix right there. That's so crazy. Um,
oh,
the xenomorphs were actually one of the first bioweapons ever used in the wars of Marduk and Tiamat.
hmm.
Yeah, right there. So they drop the black goo on this world. It destroys all organic life, but also mutates them to the xenomorphs. It's
Oh,
a bioweapon.
so there would be technologies out there to do that because technically our codons could just be re-engineered and changed. The thing is that the consciousness in these bodies will still be basically you. So you may be turned into a predator, but you still may not be as animalistic. At least I hope not.
Yeah, see, some aliens they use nanites or cyborgs for warfare. Some alien groups use genetic uh, genetics beings for warfare, like the xenomorphs. And
Hmm.
if you read the tales of the wars between Tiamat and Marduk, it talks about the xenomorphs, how these beings walked on four legs. Their blood was all acidic. It's crazy. Like I think that's where they even got the idea for xenomorphs. Was reading those books.
Okay, so yeah, Dark Fleet is messing around with this. Now, there was a schism within Dark Fleet in which some of the officers, and Johan came on and talked about this, where about 20% of the officers in Dark Fleet didn't want to go down this black goo infested route. And so they found a technology. I think it was probably Andromedan, maybe somebody could comment about where it came from, that can remove the black goo from your body, but you actually have to physically die. But yeah, so there was, and then they became the Alliance. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Alliance is probably a dirty word amongst Darkflame right now. So I'm not gonna go into too much of that. But how about we go back to where we at here? So yeah, we just talked about different creatures. You maybe different past lives that you were in, dragon body, and then Nagus, which is like a cobra type body with wings. And the Nagas are the Naga, sorry, are actually one of the higher dimensional reptilian energy. So that would be like the ascended masters of the reptiles. So if you wanted to communicate with the reptilian energy and get positive frequencies, positive beings, you would go down that route. Um, so I don't know if you were Naga. I'm not sure. You just said you
You might
saw
have
one.
misreading the notes, yeah.
Okay. So then we went to the pyramids, and there's a lot of pyramid energy. I don't know. Oh, you must have been
It's
Egyptian.
always with me. It's always pyramid and Egyptian, always.
Yeah, you must have been Egyptian in another lifetime or another world. But certainly, we see you say something called uh, Raka.
I love it.
What is that?
Atraki is
Raki?
backwards for your karta.
Huh? At Karta?
Your karta is spelled so your karta is spelled backwards that Raki, which means you're at Ra is means the sun and Ki means earth. You're at this you're at God's earth. The sun god. It's Egyptian.
All right. And that looks like that's in your last name there. Okay. So yeah, so then we have Horus is around you, Anubis shows up, and he's the one that has like the dog head with gray hair. Oh, am I getting this right? I didn't think he well, this was back in February. I'm not gonna hold wrote the notes wrong. Okay, so then we saw the sands of time. We see like the pyramids going backwards in time. And we see the schematics of how they were building the pyramids. Do you see do you remember how they built it? Do you remember?
Um, from what I remember, it's all telekinesis.
So they would have like teams of priests. Would they hold a
No,
rod down? And
no, not at all. One of the most ancient gifts that humans used to have back in the day was long life, and number two was telekinesis. Move things with your mind. That's how they moved all those big stones.
would they have to do some kind of toning, make some kind of sound, sing some kind of music?
No, that's all. That's what the no.
Okay.
Humans are have the abilities of telekinesis and telepathy. They just need to learn how to use it. Our modern day humans are so diluted with all the food and poison we eat that we can't use their powers for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the day, it even says in the Bible in the Anunnaki Kings list or Sumerian Kings list that humans used to live for 40, 50,000 years at a time.
Yeah. We had Peter the Insider on here, and we were talking about Ashland, which is a city on the bottom of the ocean where basically it's the remnant of Atlantis still exists in this giant 150-mile wide biodome at the bottom of the ocean, what's left of it anyway. And the beings down there, they live up to 150,000 years at least.
Yeah, the last human was that died old was Noah in the Bible. He died almost at 1,000 years, and the reason why our lifespan has been such shortened is because the shorter lives we have, it's harder for us to have spiritual ascension. So it's a genetic modify.
So we were mutated, probably using femtotech. They put it in the
Yeah, because
entrails
if
in
we
the
live
air.
for 1,000 years or 50,000 years, it gives us more time to spiritual ascend. But if we only live for 80 to 100 years, it's harder for us to spiritual ascend. This is a complete prison system. They
I
want us
know,
to keep
isn't that screwed
reincarnating
up?
here as a prison planet.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like
not screwed up.
we're
That's just this is a slave world. This is how it's going to be done. You're going to live for 80 years,
well,
100
I don't
years
think that.
nowadays, and work and work and work, and you're going to die and reincarnate without any spiritual
Yeah, well,
ascension.
but that's all going away. We're that was the old system. Where
True beings that beat it are Buddhist monks. There's a reason why they disappear for 14 years and go meditate in a Buddhist monk in some mountain, so they have no distractions, so they can spiritually ascend.
yeah, you can apparently they can also do it. They go into caves for about 45 days on a fast, and then when they come back out, they're young again. So yeah, there's what different ways. But anyway, okay. Well, how about we just continue on here? So yeah, so we're having just interactions with different Egyptian deities. So you think these beings also are real? They're not some kind of just tales and mythological tales. They
I
are
know
real.
for a fact that anyone in our past, like Egyptians, Sumerians, where they drew something on a wall, they were drawing what they saw. I have a connection with Anubis and Horus. We were doing remember you and me were doing a regression, and we were taken to Egypt and underneath some underground base in Egypt is a massive library of records, and it's miles long as far as you can see. It's like a labyrinth of records, and it's all plated gold. And I was in the center, and there was these giant statues around me, and there are giant statues of different alien beings, of different heads of aliens that made us. And Horus and Anubis were in there, and I could see on the walls were hieroglyphic images of the stories of like it's a hall of records. And the reason why humans can't find this is because Anubis and Horus keep it protected under like shielding, and they know that humans, if they ever found this place, that they would just use it for wealth. It's trillions and trillions of dollars of gold in there, and they don't want the humans to destroy it. So we're not ready. We're not ready
Oh
for
yeah,
that
it
to
was
come
it
brought
was
to light yet.
amazingly decorated. What you were describing. We'll just get into that just a bit, but you said these statues they had elongated skulls of these
Some of them
deep
had elongated skulls. Some had different faces, different alien faces. Greys looking, wolf faces, a frog looking face, elephant faces.
because this is also described in the caves underneath the Grand Canyon where there was a pre-Adamite race of giants. And some of the Native Americans speak of tales of this, where these giants controlled the territory here in the what became the United States or North America, and they left. But so this pre-Adamite,
That's what Lincoln was talking about, right?
which
Remember, Lincoln has a story where he went into the Grand Canyons and he found a cave and he saw giants living in coffins, like
uh,
sleeping in stasis.
I can try to pull up the article. We can discuss that in just a bit. But yeah, I from what I've heard, I believe there really is something to these stories, especially what's been coming out of
Well,
the
let's.
Grand
I'm
Canyon.
gonna do a quick, quick quick story for the people that are listening to this. What a pre-Adamite is. What a pre-Adamite is a alien being that came from what we used to call Marduk, which is old Mars. And when the wars happened with the Pleiadians and Tiamat, the whole entire atmosphere of Mars got ripped off in this war, and the Pleiadians felt bad. So the surviving Tiamats, or sorry, Adamites, they had three choices. Some of them stayed on Mars, and some of them left the galaxy in spaceships, and the other half went into the moon. They're actually the ones that brought the moon to Earth, and they lived in the moon. And then they were under attack by Draconians or Reptilians, and the Adamites decided to go on Earth, and they developed civilizations all over the Earth. And these are the I keep saying Tiamats. The Adamites look like they're elongated skulls. They're super tall, very pale white skin. They're geneticists, and what they were doing is they were making hybrids to rule the humans. And what they did is those were also known as demigods or hybrids, or the Greek gods back in the day. And a demigod was just another word for hybrid for modern day translation. And they use these hybrids to get the humans to do slave work for them, to bring them food, sustenance. And what they did is they also had three motherships that they crash landed in. Antarctica at the time, and they used their back engineered their technology to build these great advanced cities.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Underground city full of giant skeletons discovered in the Grand Canyon. So these are relics from the time of Atlantis. So this area of the Grand Canyon was a colony that they set up before Atlantis fell down. One of these repositories of knowledge and technology. But going into this article, I don't could maybe try to make it.
Is that a picture someone took or drew? That's so amazing.
Uh, I can't really
Looks like a
comment.
drawing
It
or
just
painting.
says Stephen Quayle. I think there's a guy's. Yeah, that's
That's exactly what they look like. Yeah, Adamites, elongated skulls. They're giants.
Stephen Quayle. I think he talks a lot about these giants on his website. I haven't been to his website, but anyway, yeah. So and you can see the elongated skull. So these are maybe Nephilim, or I don't think
Those
they.
are Adamites. Nephilim is just another hybrid between the Nephilim and the humans, just different types.
All right. So these are
Like
human.
you'll find smaller skulls that are human sized but are still elongated. Those are the demigods, because the humans used to call these beings gods.
And they were, I mean, these, what would you say? These are like 20 feet tall, 14, probably at least
Yeah, they're
14 foot.
huge. They're giants. They were for how big they were actually super weak. That's why they cloned humans and made certain species to work for them.
And there's,
Physiologically, they're weak, but they're super smart.
and Linda Moulton Howe talked about this ship that they discovered in Antarctica where there was these giants as well in stasis. So, yeah, they're all, yeah.
Now, I knew these Adamites when they landed here. The reptilians that lived amongst or lived in inner Earth, they had their technology was advanced enough to keep the reptilians back. I knew that was the big war on Earth at the time.
All right. Okay. So, I'm not going to go through all this, but yeah. So it's near the Colorado River, and so it's covered up with hologram the entrance, but I guess this guy was able. I don't know maybe he used psychic abilities to access it, but going down here, you can see here that there's an underground city that radiates through many passages, like on a wheel, with hieroglyphics, similar to what we see in Egypt. The mummies were, I guess, at least 2.74. So that's over 10, almost 10 foot tall, wrapped in dark linen. And yeah, okay, so they were mummified. All right, and then he found cross-shaped plants. Um, I'm not sure what they meant. But okay, all right. I guess some idols, a lily, a lotus, a lily flower, similar to the Buddha icons, and then we got okay, this yeah. There's other articles on this one. Is probably not the best one, but that describes it. Some of the archaeological finds down there, but certainly gold and treasures. But let's go
I'm
back to
curious,
this.
James, with your experience, do you think that will be part of the full disclosure that's coming out? Is the bones of the Adamites and the Nephilim? Because if you Google like the giant skulls, anyone can Google it. There's so much full disclosure already on the internet about them finding these giant skulls that are like or skeletons that are like 20, 40 feet tall.
I agree. I think the first thing that's going to happen is satellite imagery of ruins in Antarctica. Probably maybe through Starlink, although I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is cabal. But there are a lot of private satellites that are being launched, and it wouldn't be too difficult to take one of these private satellites over Antarctica and snap some photos of these giant facilities that are being
Yeah,
wiped
I
out
heard
on
I heard
Google
they're
Maps.
having on Google they're having a hard time hiding all the pyramids in Antarctica. They have to like white them out or like change the pictures and stuff because the ice is melting, right? So the pyramids are starting to come out of the ice.
Okay, and it's not just pyramids. We're talking about giant spaceships that are there for 50,000 years, and Antarctica used to have an Atlantean outpost. I guess there was three main cataclysms of the island of Atlantis, where it slowly split up over a period of 50,000 years. This was like after the first cataclysm, when it split up into three islands. An outpost was set up in Antarctica, which was tropical at the time. Although they did, I mean, the planet was tropical, but they still had the seasons, I think, but maybe not so much. Anyway, the point is,
Yeah,
is
it was flash frozen when it got changed.
yeah, there was a city there, and now it's under ice, but the ruins are still there, and they use microwaves, giant microwave ovens to melt down the ice to go all the way down. And then they find creatures down there, all sorts of critters that are down in earth and tunnels. But anyway, so how about we?
Yeah, when you said Atlantean outpost, it's like that TV show Stargate SG-1, where they find the Atlantean outpost in Atlantis, and they find great technology and ruins there. Like full disclosure, it was all in that TV show too.
Okay, a question from the audience: do you know what's happening in Lemuria, New Zealand, or Draconian bases in the South Pole, Hawaii? I don't know how to
No
figure.
idea.
I don't know how to figure Hawaii is South Pole. Yeah. So yeah, I guess most of Hendricks' experiences come to you in flashes, and at least most of we all almost I guess all of us that have been through the SSP have been neuralized at some point. So we're all just trying to recover what we can. Eventually, we'll get to the truth of all this. Okay, so let's go back to where are we at here?
I don't know
Okay.
if I want to remember my memories, man.
Well, I certainly don't think I would want to remember what it was like being in that jungle if you were one of the kids that got torn apart. Uh, okay, so where are we at here? So we see all these statues, and you can see the demigods. Um, all right, and then we see this golden temple, and everything is gold. Everything, it's like the walls and the statues and the decorations. It's a hall of records, and then we see golden statues of gray alien faces and Egyptian clothing, golden statues of reptilians, draconians, hybrids, different type of hybrids, cobra, reptilian hybrids, fish beings with gills, geckos, and some, I guess, Star Wars looking beings, elephant face. You just mentioned that earlier. So they're all in a circle, about 21 different races, to create the grand experiment of the birth of Adam and Eve. So this is what we're seeing in the Hall of Records.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? Can
Well,
you tell
Adam
us
spelled
anything
wrong.
else?
It's Atom.
Huh?
We're the sons of the atom, not Adam. It's Atom. It's a mistranslation in the Bible.
Adam and Eve.
Atom. Eve is just another. It's we're in the Anunnaki stories. We're the sons of the atom, and Eve is just a. Get rid of that. That Eve is just a biblical mistranslation.
All right. So then you see a tree with a red apple and brown branch on it, and a human hand touches it. The tree branch turns into a hand, and the person eats it. They eat the hand. You look tired. You want me to? Should we
Yeah,
rush?
sorry.
No.
Like maybe 10, 15 more
We're,
minutes. Yeah.
we're almost done. We're gonna get through this soon enough. Okay. So, all right. Then so walking on, see golden tree roots. They're connected to. Okay. Then the gold pyramid manifests in your head. I guess red jewels on your head, which has circuit boards and there are hieroglyphics all over it. Do you remember all this?
Yeah, it's all flashing in my mind right now.
Okay. And then you see a massive city around a pyramid that looks super advanced, some kind of AI world. Where is this?
Yeah, it looks like a. I don't know. It's not here. It's like the image. It looks like a circuit board, but it's an AI city.
Okay. So there you go. And then we get some messages here. Okay. And we see Templar Knights, statues of Templars, statues that are 100 feet tall with swords pointing down. Inside this cavity is a hollow pyramid shape with ancient artifacts with these statues, right? inside this pyramid.
Mhm.
And then you see another pyramid. I don't know. Maybe this is a statue. I'm not sure what I run here, but there's a golden panther head with a top pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the red jewel. So okay. So now we're I guess I don't know. These are holograms or what, but you see someone with a blonde beard. I don't know. You said me, or is that you? Do you remember who this person
No,
is?
remember you asked if I saw you in Egypt, and I did see you.
Oh, well, I had a lifetime there, yeah, but okay, so yeah, so okay, so, well, anyway, I don't want to go into that too much, but okay, so
I
this,
saw you with a blonde beard, same eyes, but you're better older looking. Clothing looks beat up, wearing a mask. You seem confused. And then you started showing me City of Solomon. Only humans being value treasure, no one else does.
okay, so Solomon is one of these cities in inner Earth connected to this network of Agarthia, which I guess also is tied into the Hall records.
I've been to Agartha before. Yeah, I remember I had memories of there. I had an astral project on there for someone.
You want to tell us what it's like, or is that you want to save it for another time?
So
Okay.
I'll just quickly go through it. When I was astral projected down there for, I don't know who it was for. I remember floating into inner Earth, and it was a part of Agarthia that was abandoned, and there was it's all stone structures. Like it's super beautiful. It almost looks like elvish, like out of Lord of the Rings, like how they build their buildings, like super elegant. And there's water streams going through the city. There's this huge waterfall, and I'm just floating through the like I'm going. It's just abandoned. It's all dark, pitch black, but you can see certain features and stuff like that. That's all I remember of it.
All right. All right. Okay, so we're going down into Solomon, and yeah, and then we see a bird and dragon's head statues everywhere. Okay, so we think this is an outside of this dimension, and then we see a building with a glass roof with white modern that looks white and modern. Pictures of horse all around it, dragons and wings. And we see more statues of black dragons, cobra beings, a bald eagle. I'm sorry, bald eagle. I'm gonna get this right. Holographic bean, orange. Yeah. So some okay, and then we see someone that looks like there's hundreds of beans sitting or staring at you right now, and you're sitting down in a lotus position, and these other beans oh yeah, I see. Okay, you see some right there. So they say you're a source warrior for Ra. He's a divine warrior from the sky who comes to earth. The center source sun. It's an ancient being with silvery being. Silvery, I guess maybe he's got a silvery type suit in the past. He sees herself as a pharaoh on Mars or
Mm-hmm.
pharaoh.
The Egyptian culture is very all over the galaxy.
Okay, praying. Okay, so all right. So then we see
That was
Mars.
one of my incarnations as a pharaoh on Mars. Yeah.
So you were a pharaoh on Earth and on Mars.
No, just from my memory, it's just Mars.
Oh, you think all this is on Mars in the
This was
past?
Mars. Yeah, this is one of the when I was one of the Mars people that stayed behind after the atmosphere was ripped off.
So do you think the city of Solomon is on Mars?
I'm not sure.
Because we were supposed to
I
say
saw
that for
giant Egyptian
another.
statues there.
All right. Okay, so this is a room gathering for the Council of Five, who are protectors of the Earth and evolution of mankind. So you were sent from Source to protect Source and multidimensional interdimensional beings who are represented by the gods. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm right here. My grammar is so bad. Okay, Horus is here. Many.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the Council Five is a group of aliens that are the judgment of Earth, and they protect humans from other alien beings. They sometimes bring me up to their council. It's like a horseshoe shape, and you have these five beings there. and they're super advanced aliens, and I'm in the middle, and they're just asking for my opinion, my personal opinion of living amongst Earthlings and what it's like to be here. And like I was saying on Penny Bradley show the other day, my judgment was too fast. At the time, I told them, they asked the solution for man's problem. I said just to wipe them all out. They're not worth saving. This was probably about a year ago. And now living amongst humans and learning to love them for who they are, I would definitely rescind that judgment, because now all these changes are happening all over the world. I'm starting to see a lot of humans wake up and drop their ego and start become more loving and more compassionate, especially this COVID-19 thing. I've seen a lot of humans open their hearts and their doors, and just be very compassionate to others. Like the whole Black Lives Matters, people are standing up all over the world and fighting back against the government and police, and it's very nice to see humans actually starting to wake up and come together as one and unity and start the positive revolution. I thought this what was beating a dead horse with all the us star seeds incarnating on Earth, and we're trying to make a difference and wake mankind up, and everyone is just giving us egos and attitudes and telling us we're idiots and we're liars and we're psychopaths and we're making this shit up. And I was just like, what is the point of trying to help them? Maybe we should just wipe them all out. So if the Council 5 is listening right now, I definitely rescind my recommendation, and I'm starting to believe in mankind when I never believed at all before. I didn't think mankind could do it, and I'm giving mankind a pat on the back. They're actually starting to show some progress right now and starting to wake up. And I have human friends that are starting to wake up and ask me questions. That's why I started my YouTube channel called Starseed Talk, where I'm interviewing other starseeds like myself with their awakening and how they're contributing to this positive revolution. And yeah, I'm actually very proud of humans lately, and I hope it continues this domino effect here.
Yeah, I was just pulling up your oh here. So this is what we got. So at this moment of time, there's not too many interviews in here, but yeah. So I'll put a link to this to your channel on here, and then is there any other way that people can reach out and contact you?
Yeah. So what I want, go back to that page for a sec. Share it, screen. Okay. So I started this thing about 3 weeks ago. Well, my introduction was 3 weeks ago, but 1 week ago, I'm doing a thing called Starseed Talk on YouTube, and there will be a link attached to this video, and you can click on it. I'm doing weekly interviews, so we just started, but I'm going to have one starseed on from all over the world come on here. Now, if you guys want to come on to the show and you're a starseed that wants to share your awakening story and where you're from, what planet you're from, you can email me at starseedtalk@gmail.com, and I can bring you onto the show. And people message me on Instagram. My Instagram is the Lonely Draco. That is the Lonely Draco, and you can add me, and I have tons of stories, and you can message me on there if you want to come on the show. And this is getting everyone. There's a lot of people that message me and they're too scared to come out because they're scared of their friends and family finding out that they're aliens, and they're like too shy because they don't want to affect their business. But it's time for us to get the awakening here. So the more of us get on the show and the more of us share a story, the more of us show to other starseeds that it's okay to be who we are, and humans have to accept us for us, then other humans will start asking those starseeds questions and start the great teaching and then the retraining progress of mankind.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. All right. I'll be sure to put the link. Also, audience members, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out my website, Neological Tech. Support work I do because this channel is demonetized. So yeah, you can get yourself a meditation cube and a book if you want to get that. You can also go to Super Soldier Talk and check.
You wrote a book?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to read it.
Yeah, so it's about, I think it's almost 250 pages long. The first, I would say first 100 pages or so, I talk about an individual that I interacted with way back in 2005, in which I learned I was involved in some of these projects. I didn't know exactly that I was a super soldier back then, but I knew they were using me. And then it took me probably another 10, I would say 10 years, another 5 more years after that I was able to put together that I was part of these projects. So yeah, so I share at least the regressions and the hypnosis sessions that I had done, the notes from that as well, some of my experiences and the needle marks. I have pictures of needle marks and the cut marks that I had over the years. So yeah, and I do also share a little
Do you
information.
have it on Audible yet?
No, I need to. Yeah, I'm going to do maybe yeah maybe another edit. I don't know. I haven't really decided what I want to do because the problem is I haven't recovered all my memories. So I've got this story, and I've learned that I spent 5,000 years of 20 years and back over and over in the secret space program, and I only remember like a tiny fragment of it, and it's really frustrating to me. So that's why I haven't really gone out and published it and promoted it. But you can find it here. You can learn what I have and the some knowledge that I've learned over these years. So there is a research section in there. It's probably about 70 pages long. That goes all about the secret space program, the players, and how they make us and so on. So you're going to get some education, and I do go into some of the regressions, but yeah. So to answer your question, it will be soon, but not yet. So how about you? Are you working on any kind of book or anything like that?
The book thing is too slow for me. Like this. The reason why I'm doing Starseed Talk or doing your show is it's just so much easier to talk and be fluent. Like for example, people ask me questions on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or YouTube. I'd rather just FaceTime them and speak. I hate texting. It's just too slow, and my fingers move too fast. There's too many spelling mistakes, and the biggest comment I get is when I try messaging someone or like responding to a comment or a question and I have a spelling mistake or grammar. They're like, if you're an alien, if you're so smart, why do you have grammar and why can't you spell English? I'm like, holy crap. Like I type so fast, my mind works so fast that I don't have time to go back and spell check or do use proper grammar because I just don't give a shit. So please be easy on me when you ask me questions, and if I have spelling mistakes or grammar, it's just because I don't care to fix it.
Yeah. So I totally hear you about that. I had to take an extra class at the community college to fix my grammar. It was so bad. It's a lot better than it was, but yeah, I could always use some improvement. But anyway, so also thank you. Okay, okay, we're not judging me too much here. Okay, so also be sure to visit Super Soldier Talk. You can go check out some of these interviews. I got the transcripts from Johan uploaded. If you don't want to listen, you can read. But yeah, so you could click through all these links and check that out. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get updates when the videos come out. And yeah, so I guess that's it. Is there any other, I guess somebody was asking, how can we contact you, Joel, to be on your show? Is there a link or I didn't
Yeah,
see.
also put in the link, my email, starseedtalk@gmail.com. Just put that
Excellent.
link in there if you want to email me.
Okay, excellent. I'll write that down. So there you have it, audience members. One final last question. Does anybody in here have any questions or I think I don't really see. Actually, somebody asked about Musk. I don't know, and I don't know. For starters, neither Joel or myself would really be considered a clairvoyant here because that's kind of what you need. We could explore, but I don't think it's a good idea to really look up at some of these specific like that. Anyway, so yeah, somebody was mentioned here about the MIB. Maybe we can have a mobile EMP device. Forget me. The forget me stick is called the neuralizer, and it's actually in the movie. Apparently, that's what it is really called, and they do have those. So, all right, okay. So I don't really see any good questions in here. So
It's all good, man. Let's go. It's getting late, so.
okay, all right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Hendricks.
Okay, see you guys later.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me on the show. Thanks. Bye.